My 23 male girlfriend 22 female of 2 years revealed to me she had a rapport in 3 with her best friend. A couple days ago it was my girlfriend's birthday. And while in bed at the end of the night she mentioned to me that her best guy friend from childhood, call him Andrea, didn't wish her happy birthday. I asked her about how he was doing and the conversation eventually got to his previous relationship with Kay, who my girlfriend also dated when she was bi-curious in college. About 6 months into us dating we were talking about our rapport and 3 experiences, and she mentioned to me that she had one with Kay and another guy from one of her college classes before we started dating. After that conversation was over we decided it best if we didn't discuss any more of our experiences with one another, because it was starting to get to my head. I didn't know about Andrea's previous relationship with Kay, which I remarked upon because of the funny coincidence. She stayed silent for a couple seconds, then told me that actually the other guy in the rapport in 3 she told me about in the beginning of our relationship was in fact Andrea. Immediately this upset me for several reasons. 1. Andrea never went to the same college as us, and at that point in our relationship I already knew who he was, so she actively lied to hide who the other guy was. 2. My girlfriend has continued to hang out with Andrea, albeit very few times, -5 since we started dating. Comment on his Instagram posts sometimes, most recently 4 days ago. She also went to his birthday party a couple months ago where she told me he made advances on her, which is why she left early, which is true. 3. She scheduled lunch with the 3 of us a couple months ago so I could meet him and everything. I've had no issue at all with them being friends and hanging out, so I enjoyed meeting him at the time. But now after the fact it feels like a real slap in the face and humiliating that she did that. For she cares enough about him to notice he didn't wish her happy birthday and remarked upon it. I left the room for a while to gather my thoughts, and when I came back she wanted to talk. I told her how upset I was and why, and she was immediately on the defensive. First saying some crap about how she thought she had told me already. Then why did you hesitate before telling me just 15 minutes earlier? She then started talking about how she's found it impossible to keep childhood friends, so she really values her friendship with him for that reason. After some more defensiveness she finally apologized and agreed to stop talking to him at my request. Then reassured me a lot, which did help how I felt about the situation. But resentment has been brewing in my mind about the situation over the past couple of days. It doesn't really have anything to do with the ex with best friend part, and more about how it feels like she purposely deceived me. Granted, she knows I'm a sensitive person and she maybe didn't think the detail was that important to mention. But how could it not be? Considering you still hang out with him after previous Zool experience while having a boyfriend. Honestly, I'm not really sure how I should feel. And if I'm just being overly sensitive, jealous, but it's certainly not something I would have ever done to her. I think it's disrespectful to continue hanging out with anyone you've had sex with while in a relationship. But that's just me. Important thing to note is that this post is not meant to be a "is she cheating on me" post. I know that she's not, because we work from home and do almost everything together. It would be extremely obvious if she was actually cheating on me. The issue at hand is here is I think she was purposely misled me about the situation in order to hide the past. Maybe she was doing it for my benefit, but I definitely know she was doing it for hers. Reddit. Am I valid in how I feel? I feel less trusting of her now. And even though she's not cheating on me, it feels like deceit. Thanks for reading. Too long, didn't read. Girlfriend hid that she had rapport in 3 with her guy best friend before we started dating and continues to hang out with him. Hearing about our significant other's past Zool exploits can be hard, especially when they've had more different experiences than us. I, myself, have gotten jealous over such things before. But I agree with most of the others here. Your feelings are valid. I don't like my fiancé girlfriend communicating with past boyfriends, let alone someone she's had sex with. And I don't think she'd appreciate it if I was doing it either. I'm not exactly sure what advice to give here. Then again, you may not really be looking for any. But no, you're not wrong for feeling the way you do. And don't let her try to convince you otherwise. What would piss me off about this situation is her inviting Andrea to meet both of you for lunch. You were sitting there eating lunch with someone who had sex with your girlfriend and you weren't told. In this situation, my mind would be wondering, were they laughing at me, and I would dump her yesterday. Nobody can be as naive as she's trying to portray herself. Nobody. There's a couple things that should have happened if she truly wasn't being deceptive. First of all, she wouldn't currently be friends with that person unless 1. She knew she didn't tell you. 2. She really doesn't see where she messed up. But she knows she's guilty. If this happened with me and my wife and she was hanging out with him knowing she hid it from me, I would be absolutely done. She crossed a line. And she didn't even give it a second thought to tell you until she had to. Second story. So I need help. Does this friend have any reason to be upset? Is she gaslighting me? I am 32 female sub to guy 41. He wanted a rapport in 3 with third wheel girl 30 female, and I need to know if I was in the wrong for not giving her specifics of a conversation between me and guy. I was always upfront with what happened to this girl. I just never gave specifics. Said I hadn't heard from him. And that he often just needs time to himself to deal with his issues his way. I decided to show screenshots out of frustration with the guy, I'll admit, and she blew up at me. Backstory. Significant other. I've been a submissive to this guy for over a year now. And he recently started talking to another girl so we could set up a rapport in 3 with her. I was fine with it. He set up a group chat for us to talk in. She was definitely a third wheel. And let us know she was mad about it. She said she's jealous of our relationship. And got mad whenever I mentioned something I liked that he did. I mean, she was coming into our relationship expecting to be on the same level as me. Not happening. She was literally just someone to have a rapport in 3 with on occasion if it worked out. I started thinking maybe I didn't want to have a rapport in 3 because of how much I started to feel like I was having to walk on eggshells. Time went on. And I realized it was her I wasn't okay with. Not the rapport in 3. She just rubbed me the wrong way from the get-go. She was so overbearing from the very start. Getting jealous over literally nothing. And getting really snarky with me for absolutely no reason whatsoever. She admitted she was just jealous about how close me and the guy were. I mean, the most we really talked about was our day-to-day lives. And if we mentioned the guy, it was basically, oh hey, I texted him today. Or we texted all day. And some we SXY talked. There's never been specifics ever given after I started walking on eggshells. Anyways, the guy has been on a leave of absence, it happens sadly, and well, he never warned he was going to poof for a bit. So she started venting to me. I told her I hadn't heard from him since such and such day either, which was true. I just didn't tell her that day we set up a time to get together. Because I didn't want to hurt her feelings that he left her out. Doesn't matter anyway because he cancelled when I was halfway there. He promised we'd set up another time within a week. And it's been 2 weeks since I've heard from him. This is normal for him. Even if it is extremely obnoxious as all get out. Here's the conversation. Her. You didn't tell me that. I thought he hadn't texted you still. Me. I haven't heard from him in 2 weeks. I just didn't say what he last said. Her. I feel like it was a tiny bit shady you didn't tell me about that exchange and didn't let me know about it. Let me think he was still ignoring you. Me. What are you talking about? I haven't spoken to him in 2 weeks. Her. Especially since I've been well. I thought we were friends. Me. I didn't tell you specifics because I didn't want to upset you that he made plans with me and not you. Her. Okay. Me. Even if he did ruin them. Her. I understand that, but you still did keep that from me. But meh. It's your business between you and him. I wouldn't have been upset over plans either. Me. I'm sorry I didn't tell you specifics sooner then. Her. It doesn't matter. I don't like being lied to, laughing my butt off. And you did. And I get the reasoning behind it, but you still did so. And I was upfront about my interactions with him. That's what bothers me the most. I give you upfront honesty so I can be considerate of your feelings. I'm not answering messages today after this for the day. I should just focus on me. I never responded because I don't need that kind of crap in my life. Too long didn't read. Third wheel is mad I didn't specifically tell her the last thing guy and I talked about was getting together before he poofed. I feel like she's gaslighting me. Or trying to make it all about her because she's jealous. Was I in the wrong to not tell her? This is some person you were both talking to about maybe having a rapport in 3 with. Or have you had rapports in 3 with them? Or did you actually have a triad relationship? Like, what does this person think this relationship is? And why do they have such a different understanding than you do? And why are you both hung up on a guy who can't meet basic relationship needs type things? The guy and I wanted to try a rapport in 3. So he went out in search of a third for us. We've just been talking to see how it would go with her. And haven't actually met up yet. Just texting to get to know one another. Definitely not a triad. I don't actually know why she thinks she's a part of the relationship when we've been very clear with it the entire time. She definitely used honorifics with him from the start. And it drove me nuts. He thinks she's using them because she herself is a sub and not that she's his sub. I ask myself this all the time when he disappears for these long lengths of time. Then I roll over and pretend it never happened when he comes back. Kinda makes me hate myself sometimes for being so weak. Yes. I would just cut ties. Way too complicated for a fun rapport in 3. Also consider cutting ties with him. He doesn't treat you with basic respect. Yes, I am definitely going to be cutting ties with her. I want to cut ties with him because he clearly doesn't respect me enough to not just poof for long periods of time. But I will say that there's so much I want to do with him that I'd be afraid to do with anyone else just because of the level of trust one have built with him. That's probably the only reason why I keep letting him come back. I just know I'll definitely be having a big old chat with him here soon about this. Third story. Should I 21 female be worried that my boyfriend 23 male told me he wants us to have a rapport in 3 with me and his co-worker 23 female? My boyfriend and I have talked about having a rapport in 3 multiple times before. And it's something I definitely want to try at least once. I'm looking forward to doing it with him, but something weird happened, and now I am on the fence about it. My boyfriend suggested that we do it with a girl he knows from work. I asked him if she'd be even down for that. And he immediately said yes, she'd be totally down. Naturally, I got upset because he's talking to some other girl about having a rapport in 3 without even bringing it up to me first, which really upset me. When I asked him how does he even know that she'd be down, said it's because she told him about a bunch of rapports in 3 she's done before. And also she apparently mentioned that she thinks I am attractive. I suggested that we find some other girl, but he thinks it'll take a long time to find the right person, and that his co-worker is the easy choice. Honestly, I am not sure if he's telling the truth, especially because he got a little defensive when I asked him how did he know she would be down. But again, I could be reading too much into it and hopefully I am. But anyway, that was the first red flag for me. I was really excited about doing the thing in 3, but now I am not so sure. Should I be worried that my boyfriend picked her out specifically? Too long didn't read. My BF and I always wanted to have a rapport in 3. He suggested that we do it with his co-worker, but I am kinda worried that it might be a bad idea. Full stop. Do not shop your work friend circles for a rapport in 3. I will accept no questions. There are plenty of websites you can use to meet like-minded adults. Join them. Look at profiles together. Choose someone you both think is attractive or interesting. Connect with them. Chat online to make sure you all want the same things. Go out for drinks to see if there is chemistry. And do it that way. Don't invite Zool drama, let alone workplace drama, into your life. The first red flag is that it's someone he works with and spends 8+ hours a day with without you. Way too many opportunities for this to blow up in everyone's face. The second red flag is that he didn't involve you in choosing someone and spread your personal business to a co-worker. The third red flag is that he's chosen her because according to him she's the easiest option. There's a high likelihood that having a rapport in 3 will change your relationship completely, and you won't know how until afterwards, and his grab a girl and go for it attitude is completely the wrong approach. The fourth red flag is that he's not asked if you are attracted to her, whether you want to build a rapport with her first, etc. That suggests he's more interested in getting her naked than if you'll have a good time. Call it off. You are having very valid doubts and should listen to them. Don't do this just to please him or because he whines and guilts you into it. Your no is more important than his yes. Fourth story. How do I male 19 tell my friend male 19 we're having a rapport in 3 with his friend with benefits female 20? My male 19 girlfriend female 19 and I have been discussing our needs for a while now. Since we begun dating 10 months ago, we've made an effort to keep our ex lives fresh. We came to the conclusion that, for the mutual interest, we're going to open up our ex lives. We're interested in exploring the swinger lifestyle. Rapports in 3, in 4 and more. After much discussion, we decided it was best to start off small in a secure and familiar environment, so we're having a male and female rapport in 3 this weekend. With one of my girlfriend's best friends female 20. Please note that we already discussed boundaries, expectations, fears and everything in between. We're trying to do things right. Further advice on this is also super appreciated. Thing is, the third has been hooking up with a friend of mine male 19 for a little over a month. The third left a long-time relationship some months ago, so she isn't emotionally available. My friend knows this and he is also very ex-positive. But I am afraid to tell him since he is a very emotionally intense person and is quite infatuated with the third. My girlfriend and the third are super excited about the rapport in 3, and we know it really isn't his choice. I'd like to ask you about the best way to talk to him about it, as well as what outcomes I could expect. Also, would it be appropriate for me to bring up the possibility of including him in a thing in 4 next time? Thank you so much for reading. Have a lovely week. Too long didn't read. My girlfriend and I are having a rapport in 3 this weekend with one of my girlfriend's best friends. The 3 of us are super excited about it. But the third has been sleeping with one of my friends for a while. So I need to tell him about the thing in 3. And I was wondering what would be the best way to do that. This is a question only you can answer. The question you have to answer for yourself is, if things go south, will it all be worth it? I get you and your girlfriend want to have a thing in 3. But can it wait for another girls with less strings? It sounds a bit tricky. And I wouldn't tell him by promising him he can be there next time. It's up to your girlfriend if she's comfortable with him. I also get why you want to do this with the third. If she is someone you're both comfortable with. If it's your first time doing this, etc. I don't think there's any way to say it that is guaranteed to not upset him. Especially since you're not asking for his opinion. You're just informing him. It's probably more about you having X with her, rather than she having X with someone else. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.